we started the third and the fourth verse. In the first verse, Arjuna asks a question, am I to worship God with a form or formless? The Lord answers by saying, you obviously worship a God with a form. We learned that it is not a general rule, because worshipping God without a form is superior to worshipping the God with a form. Nirguna upasana is superior to saguna upasana. Guna means an attribute. Saguna is when you worship anything with a property, with an attribute, with a guna, is no saguna. Nirguna is something without any attribute, without any quality, without anything defining it. So your spiritual journey begins with saguna, and as you evolve, you reach a point where you worship the nirguna, the formless reality. Even though that is the truth, he says, worshipping God with a form is superior to worshipping the God formless. It's because he's catering to Arjuna. In that sense, he's also catering to all those people who are at the level of Arjuna, who need a form to worship. Can you make sure the AC is minimum, both places, please? Just check. So in the third and the fourth verse, he is giving attributes to worship the formless. So he says, those indeed who worship the imperishable, the indefinable, the unmanifest, and so on. And then he says, having restrained the group of senses regarding everything equally, I'll explain, rejoicing in the welfare of all, they also reach me. So as we said, he gives pointers to the introverted people. The introverted people are the contemplative people. So the introverted contemplative people can use these pointers, which the third and the fourth verse mention, as a means to contemplate on the self. That becomes a tool, that becomes a medium for them to connect to the formless reality. Now, who can contemplate? He makes sure who can contemplate also. He doesn't take it for granted. Suddenly you start thinking, oh, I am an introvert fellow, you start contemplating. Then what might happen? If you are not an introverted person, if you are not qualified to meditate or qualified to contemplate, and you start contemplating, it would not obviously give you the desired result. But the problem is, an ill-prepared student does something, it brings about an unfavorable result. So it's important that that quality control is, a check is there. In any aspect of life, there is a quality control, a safety, as you were just mentioning. Without, in an industry, in there, don't mind me mentioning, there was a fatality. A worker fell from 150 odd meters height, fell to death, because there was no proper protocol taken care of. There was no safety harness to protect him from a possible danger. There's a quality control. And if you don't follow that, there is a possible fatality. You drive, there is a certain quality control. Somebody checks whether you are worthy of being given a driving license, so on and so forth. In every aspect of life, there is a quality control. So also in spirituality, these masters have not left any stone unturned. They make sure that you are actually worthy and qualified to actually contemplate or meditate. So what precedes meditation is contemplation. So who can contemplate? Who can meditate? First, he says, control the senses. Samniyamya indriya gramam. One who has well restrained all the senses. So he gives a discipline at the physical level. At the physical level of your personality, you should be a master of your senses. The senses are eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And if you look at your own personality, there is a push from within towards the sense objects in the world. So there is a want for taste from the tongue, sight from the eyes, sound from the ears. So the ears want sound, the tongue wants taste, the skin wants touch, and so on. So there is a push from within, and also there is a pull from the sense objects. All the sense objects of the world have got that power in them to draw our senses to it. So as it were, it is designed in a way for our own downfall. The senses are powerful, the sense objects are tempting, and we have no control. So what is the inevitable end? Disaster written all over. So capital letters, highlighted bold. See, you and one who has no mastery over his senses, not one sense. Oh, sir, I have a great mastery over my tongue, sir. Or I have a great mastery over my ears. Anything that is not healthy, I don't listen to it. Okay, you may have a mastery over your ears, you may have mastery over your tongue, but what about eyes? What about touch? What about smell? Therefore, he says, Indriya Gramam, the Gramam, which is the group of senses. So you must have control over all your senses. So the discipline to check whether you're an introverted person or not at the physical level, you must have control of all your senses at all times. So you must be a master of all your senses. The moment you become a slave, what does it make you? The moment you become a slave of your senses, what does it make you? Makes you an animal. In fact, the moment you have no control over your senses, you become an extroverted person. An extroverted person means one who is rushing out into the world. Introverted person means one who goes inward. So if I have to go inward and search for that kingdom within, I must not fall a prey to my senses, which are all the time rushing me outward, pushing me outward. So job of the senses is only to push you outward. So if you want to go inward, I must truly conquer that which is pushing me outward, isn't it? So if I have mastered that, then what happens? I can sit at a place, I can be with myself, I can go inward, I can attempt to know what is within me. At least attempt. Without that readiness of controlling the senses, what happens? When the senses are rushing outward and you don't give in to the senses, what happens? There is a push and a pull, and you are not able to control what happens. There is wear and tear. There is stress. There is a lot of mental suppression. There's a lot of mental agitation, a lot of mental restlessness. And a mind which is not calm is not ready for contemplation, meditation. That's the connection. So if I can, how to test you? Put you in a place without anything in the world that you can reach out to. You can't connect with the world can't reach you. How you connect the world? No Wi-Fi, no network. There's nothing, you can't connect with the world. No wife also. No wife, no Wi-Fi also. Srinivas is saying no wife. Please communicate to the concerned person. Appropriate message has to go. This is right positive message. The consequences you can face. I did not say no wife. So when you See, all of us have a limit of withdrawing. And there comes a threshold you say, no, I need to contact the world. I need to either see the message, or I need to see what's happening. I need to find out what is happening in the election, what is happening in the sports. Hey, what happened to the match yesterday? You can't withhold by not wanting to know what's happening in the world. So there is that rush, you see. How long can you be away from the world and yet keep yourself in peace and quietude? To that extent, you are an introvert person. To that extent, you can meditate or contemplate. You bypass this, you're asking for trouble. Nobody tells you this. None of it is tested. The guru is teaching, the students are following. Sorry? Which line? Threshold line. Oh, yes. The threshold line is varying from person to person. What is your capacity may not be my capacity. You may be far more introverted than I am, or vice versa. So it is important to be true to your personality. So you must use these qualities as a measure for self-analysis. I must know what I am. Unless and until I know what I am, I will not be able to take a corrective measure. So in science, I can go and surrender to a doctor. As you know, there is this BMI, body mass index. Even when I went for the trek, they had a long list of things. I had to get it verified by a doctor. 30, 35 questions I had to answer. Hari Om. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Guruji.
The reason is because my wife didn't bring the battery. It's all wife problem, not Wi-Fi problem. So what was it last you heard, Ramji?
Hariom, sir. The last you were saying was that if you are in a place where there is no access to any of the sense objects, the worldly things, no Wi-Fi, no wife and everything you said, and that is introvertedness, that is restraint.
So you've got the theme of the concept.
Yes, sir, yes.
Theme. Usha
But I was
I caught you.
But I was saying that if you are in the middle of everything, like we discussed many times, that you are in the bazaar, but you are still observing restraint, and both physical and mental restraint. Is that real introvertedness, or being away from everything is introvertedness?
Can you speak a little louder?
We discussed earlier that if you are in the middle of the bazaar and observe restraint, that means you are in the middle of all sense objects and still restraint is observed both physically and mentally. That is introvertedness. Or being away from everything, go to Himalayas or go somewhere and then don't have access to any wife or Wi-Fi and sweets or food or whatever, all worldly things. is that introvertedness.
No, obviously the Shastras are not trying to advocate physical abstinence.
Right.
What they are advocating is the Shastras lay emphasis on karma. When we say karma, adopting action to obligation, whatever I am obliged to do, whatever your dharma demands you to do, you do it. But while you're doing it, don't be a slave to it, don't be attached to it, don't be a master, don't be a slave. So when they talk of control over the senses, sense control is not sense denial.
Right.
A percentage of people have mistaken the concept of sense control to sense denial. Self-control is not self-denial. If I deny myself, like some people go to pilgrimage and say, I must give up what I like most. I like masala vada, I given up masala vada. No, some sweet also. Sweet. I like jangri, I given up jangri. You go to Kashi to give up jangri. Better things to do going up to Kashi, and I can't understand. So it is not that kind of an act where you give up something. Then what about all the rest? So mastery over the senses means you're not driven on the mind and the senses. That is what the whole
Right.
chariot, isn't it? The chariot
Right.
metaphor. What is the chariot metaphor? You all know, isn't it? The famous chariot metaphor tells Andy Ramji.
No, sir.
I don't like your expression.
No, I don't know. I don't remember now. You might
Everybody,
have given it before.
what is the chariot metaphor? The chariot symbolizes a human being. Am I only feeling warm, or is it warm? Is it? No, AC is on. Hello. Shanti. Sit down. They're looking into it. Don't do something. Again, we have to undo it. First. So, the 5 horses obviously are the 5 senses. The battlefield is the world. Now it's coming. Huh? The reins is the mind. TIER. Correct? Correct? The charioteer is the intellect. Who is the charioteer? Partha Sarathi, charioteer of Arjuna. So in the example of the the chariot metaphor, the senses, which are the horses, which are controlled by the strong intellect, without the intellect, without the charioteer, the horses go helter-skelter. So you must let your senses be under control. And who controls it is the intellect. Is the chariot, the charioteer, Krishna. So there is never an implication to abandon your duties or withdraw yourself from the world. Then if I don't withdraw from the world, then am I not going to be an extrovert person? In the second chapter, he says, everything in life operates on a principle of demand and supply. Panigraji, you are little new to the wisdom fold, but yet you have known me 3-4 times, you have met me. It is Indian traditional culture that when you go and meet somebody, you take something. Isn't it? You're going to a guru, you'll take something. Has it ever thought that I should take a whiskey bottle or a beer bottle and give him? Did you bring anything today? You didn't bring anything today. What did you bring today? Salutations, and then you got some fruits. Yeah? You got some fruits for the prashadam afterwards. You said, let me bring prashad fruits you got. You should have bought. Anji, look at him, he never thought of it only. So bad of him. We'll ban him from the wisdom parivar. So why didn't you think of getting a bottle, sir?
They will think that all of us are giving you bottles.
That is the problem. Guru will not think, others will think. Now it is there, now we have got a chance. Now why? The thought would not occur because I have no demand for it, I have no desire for it. Not him. Nobody ever in my whole life has ever offered me a drink. No, because in fact, other day, somebody was following me on Instagram. They're putting my videos, they're uploading. And suddenly there is a place called Richfield Corner. And I hope this fellow will listen. Guna is one of my very dear students from Malaysia. More than a student, he has become my guru and I become his shishya. But good friends, but very, very close over the years. And he is involved, one of his businesses is they run a pub. He and his friends are involved in a pub. And that pub name is called Richfield Corner. And Richfield Corner is following me. Instagram. Suddenly, Vaishnavi, who is handling all this, Daddy, why is this pub photo coming in your Instagram following you? Yesterday, she was telling. I said, Nana, the Richfield Corner is none other than Guna. And I know remember telling you this is his place and things like that. But I have gone to his place when they inaugurated and all. I remember when I was living there, I went there. But I remember going to Richfield Corner and having lemon juice. Pub. Drinks. Went there, had lemon juice and I came back. I've had n number of chances if I wanted to drink. But I have no desire. Now should I withdraw from the Ramji? Should I withdraw from the world of liquor?
No, you should go and be in the middle of all that and then still not drink.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But I don't have to be afraid of the liquor or that world because I have no desire for it. So
Absolutely.
what happens? Even though I am in it, I get out of it.
Yeah.
But that part of the world doesn't bother you, doesn't interest you, doesn't disturb you. So the world will only come to you. The world will. What happened? You're able to hear me, no?
It is breaking. It's breaking. Breaking.
Oh, breaking. Okay. Hello? Can you hear me online?
Yes.
So I thought Jayama was here. Suddenly she's seen on screen. Am I seeing ghost or what? Sir, right now the lady was sitting next to you. I'm seeing her here. Where are you?
You must
Where?
have gone down.
Oh, you're gone down. Thingappa. For a moment, I got a shock. என்ன நடக்குதுங்க? Something fishy going on, sir. Right now, she was sitting here and suddenly she is seeing on screen. Magical, something is going on. Now it is very cool upstairs. You can come back here. It's too hot for her. She went and put a private AC down and sitting here. What is this going on? ये क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? No, she's sitting in the office room. ठीक है. So, Ramji, so we don't have to, we can be in the world and yet not worry of the world because the world will not come and disturb you. The world will not disturb you only if you have a desire for it. So if you live a life of introversion, so you can be in the thick and thin of the marketplace, in the most happening place, yet not have a craving for the world or don't be a slave to the world, and yet you can be in a cocoon of your own self where you can continue your spiritual sadhana.
Yes, sir.
But you will not, but you will have a natural affinity towards being in silence and quietude. You don't want, in fact, in one of the qualities of a spiritual man, he says, a spiritual man has got distaste for crowd. He doesn't like crowded places. Not that he hates people, but he likes to be
With limited people. Yeah.
in quietude.
Mm.
So control of senses doesn't mean you shun the world. You can very much be in the world and yet the world will not disturb you. And the question clarification Panigraji are asking is, what is Arjuna? Arjuna is said to be the state of mind. Arjuna is the passenger. Passenger is your peace and happiness. Your peace and happiness depends on how you steer your personality in the world. And the world is full of challenges. That's like a battlefield. So you must have that Krishna, the intellect, to be able to deal with all kinds of challenges in the world to keep yourself peaceful and happy within. So Arjuna is the peace of mind, the happiness, how peaceful and happy you are. Depends on how you steer yourself in the world. Otherwise, you can have accidents, serious accidents. Therefore, the whole thing, the crux of the thing is Krishna. And in that metaphor, Krishna is the intellect. And intellect is synonymous to wisdom. When you have the wisdom, it reflects as the clarity of thought. You think very clearly. It doesn't cloud your clarity of thought. Many a time our thinking is clouded, especially when it comes to our own personal decisions. When there's an objective decision, you're going to take something you got to do for the company, or you want to think of advise somebody else, we are very objective. But when the problem comes one's own, we get little uncertain, don't we? We lose our clarity. I don't know what to do because emotions come and disturb your ability to make right decisions. So when you have the wisdom, you'll be able to manage your emotions well. You'll be able to think clearly. You'll have a certain amount of maturity in your decision making. You'll not be impulsive. And that is very important in order to make right decisions, choose the choice of action. For that, you need intellect. And if you want to have that clarity of thought, which is the prerogative of the intellect, you must have the wisdom. So intellect actually is a product of wisdom. Just a minute. You're not working?
At times it is while taking decisions, there could be any number of decisions that will be taken in the situation. And maybe each and every decision that what type of decisions you are taking. It can't be, we can't conclude that that is a bad decision, that is not taken, decision that it was taken. So both are not equally distinct weightage in terms of so like are you really, there has to be clarity on this thing while taking a decision. If I have the intellect, then we are taking the right decision. But when it's a matter of choosing from alternatives, choosing from various missing options in the organizational context, we always decisions like that. It can't be told that this is black or this is white. But it will also a gray, certain gray color. So in that context, how can you gather the right decisions or the wrong decisions?
There are moments where you're uncertain.
Yes.
There is no clear demarcative whether to do this or do that. One quality control, or 2 points, I would say. When you are in those moments where you're not certain, you will never go wrong if you do it in the larger interest. Whatever decision you're taking, it must be in the interest of the larger cause, the larger good, which is the organization's interest. Point one. If you don't compromise that principle, then you will never go wrong. If you compromise the principle for a hidden agenda or a personal motive or a selfish interest, then momentarily it may be right, but ultimately you're wrong. So when you don't know what am I doing, is it the right thing, you just think a larger interest and go on that side. You'll never, as because what happens is when you think of a larger interest, your personal ego is insignificant. You will say, what am I gaining out of it? I am neither doing a personal favor. I'm only thinking in the larger cause, so the larger interest. And secondly, look at your conscience, what your conscience says. These two factors, never contradictory. Anything, so 1 minute, I repeat, anything done with a larger good, for the larger good, is always supported by the conscience. In fact, your conscience will never support an action which is selfish and self-centered. Remember that.
Past, there was a group of people that came to me asking for solving non-veg food in industrial country. Majority of the people. This office 278 people. Don't go to people they came and non-veg food served. There is a minority of people, around 25 of them that we can't accept this. We want to be vegetarian, we can't stand the smell and things like that. In the heart of the house, I want these things to be solved. But the majority, they want not-veg people, not-veg food to be solved. So this was a contradiction. Eventually, I had to give it to the majority. That was a contradiction. In my conscious, this thing I wanted vegetarian to be solved. But I had to give it to the majority.
Now, you have to think in the larger interest. The larger interest is they want non-veg. Why are you interfere? Why is your personal interest interfering in the decision? They're not coming and asking Mr. Panigraha, what is your preferred choice of? No. What is interfering is your personal choice vis-a-vis the preferred majority of the organization. If 70 to 80% people want non-veg, you have to take a decision because as an authority, you have to say yes or no to it. It has got nothing to do with whether you like it or not. You may be a pure vegan, but you are signing checks every day, approving food for non-veg. You have got nothing to do. Are you got anything to do with it? No, you are doing what the demand is there. I've got nothing to do with it. It may seem contradictory, but it is not your organization. You are playing a role. Do what is in the larger good. But if you can in any way influence that thinking, please do. But if you can't, you say, okay, objectively, I have nothing to do with it. So like a butcher, is he incurring karma for what he's doing? Let's say a man is born into the lineage of a butcher's family. There is no education. He's illiterate. All he is seeing all his life is this animals being slaughtered. He doesn't see them as innocent animals. He doesn't see them as something being wrong. He only sees as a livelihood for his family. So how can you say what he is doing is wrong? So my approach to that action is filtered by my perception of what is right, what is wrong. So many a time you must take an objective decision. It's not what I want, whether I would go and have food or consume food in a kitchen where majority of food or eaters are non-veg, I would not do it. You may take that personal decision. I will not eat food in this canteen. But that's what the majority wants. Who am I to say no to it? So you are projecting your mind on them. How right is that, sir? That you can do. If you people have the resources, construct a separate kitchen or outsource one dining area and a kitchen facility exclusively for non-veg, a small dining area for veg, done. Are you people running pillar to post from the organization? No, you're flushed with resources. So use it wisely to cater to everybody. Nobody is right and wrong. So how can you deprive the people who are wanting it by saying, no, I don't like it. I can't allow. See, the point is, should not allow your personal feelings to interfere the work. So objectively do what is the right thing to do. That's why I said larger interest. You have to keep everybody's well-being in interest. Not what I think. Then it becomes a dictator kind of attitude. No, nothing doing. That's where comes the conflict of management and the union. Because it's more like a authoritative thing. You're not incorporating them. They're a part of the family. Just because they're of a labor caliber doesn't make me authoritative. Just because I'm a parent, I can't have an authoritative attitude towards my child. The child also is a human being. The child also wants as much freedom as I want. The child also has preferences and certain choices. As an adult, my duty is just to guide the child, not to impose my views on the child. Or I can't fulfill my desires through the child. I can't project myself onto the child. So if I respect the child as like in a Western culture, it's very often seen, if you're very objective, you'll notice it. Imagine guests come to a house and there is a discussion going on. And if a young boy walks into that meeting, and if he starts talking, everybody listens to the meeting. Everybody listens to him or her. Because they respect his or her view or opinion. For Indian culture, elders are talking, a small fellow comes and talks, hey, chumarida. What are you talking? Go and sit. We're talking. Adults are talking. What are you doing in between? We snub them. That's our culture. I'm not saying what is right, what is wrong, but I'm only saying if you observe it, their views are respected. Their values, whatever they have is people lend their ears to it. You get it?
Why veg food is better in that sense?
Then you want to have vegan company from NTPC, switch it to you promote something else. I don't know. Is that a norm? I don't know. How can I decide what other person should eat, what other person should not eat? You can't say, oh, we will not serve. If you all want to resign, please resign. Do that extreme act. All over the company, NTPC, sorry to take the name of organization. This organization is passing a rule. If you fellows don't become vegetarians, please tender your resignations. We will accept it. Huh? Hey, kya hua? Is that a blanket standard can you set in? No, you can't. How can you? What would be your stance to it? You can't. You have to respect the individuality. You have to respect their personality. You may have nothing to do with it, but yet, I remember in the ashram, this is the second batch. I was in the ashram second batch. So it's all ashram was growing. The ashram started 1988. I joined 91 end. So one batch finished, the second batch we started, and we were very few students. There was a couple of Australians, and one of the regular schedule, 3 years we follow the same schedule from morning 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Any time of the year you come, we'll be doing the same thing, but no monotony. We really used to enjoy what we used to do. Now, 7 o'clock in the morning, I think 6:20 to 7 o'clock, we all used to do yoga. Lecture hall like this, we will do yoga, including Swamiji. Everybody used to come, we will do yoga. This boy, Australian, 6 feet 2 inches, tall, hefty fellow, but then he became very fit, not bulky, very fit fellow. He said, Swamiji, I have a small suggestion. He went up to him and said, so I can, instead of yoga, can we all do aerobics? That also is a very good form of exercise. Why don't we all do aerobics? Swami said to him, I am very open to the idea. But remember, it's not that you're doing aerobics and he's doing yoga and she is doing Zumba dance and that lady is doing Bharatanatyam and this fellow is doing something else. We all will do collectively whatever we're doing, all will do it. Next day onwards implemented. For aerobics, you need different kind of music. You need that beats and little loud, fast. So imagine in an ashram, 6 o'clock in the morning, that music is being played and everybody are geared with the proper gear to do aerobics. First day gone, including Swamiji, we all are jumping. He was a lead instructor because he knew aerobics. So he became our lead instructor. Everybody is following. Second day passed. Third day, we all got instructions that it will be yoga class. Apparently, after the end of second day, this man himself went up to Swamiji and said, Swamiji, I think this doesn't fit in here. I think we all go back to yoga. I said, whatever it is, if we all yoga, we all will do yoga. And from then on, it never changed. See, a leader must be very approachable, must be able to accept change. He lent his ears to him and said, nothing doing in an ashram. You better do yoga, otherwise get out. He didn't say that. Look at that man's broad-mindedness to be able to adapt. So perhaps you all should take a broad-mindedness to experiment and see what is right, what is wrong. Nothing is right and wrong. What is right for me may not be right for you, sir. Yes.
Person may be very, very efficient, very, very target oriented, but supposing he blocks
He puts on the kind of uniform which is not in different governments accepted this thing comfort thing. But he's very efficient. He believes what he is asked to do. So in that context, when we adopt a philosophy that the process is important also, you have to come in time, you have to follow certain basic discipline, decorum in office. Very efficient. So how to this thing balance out? If you are that much open and then the process should be involved and the person should be convinced and things like that. Context is it possible in some context?
Absolutely. There are certain things which are not questioned. Sir, there must be a sense of freedom. But that sense of freedom must be punctuated with values and discipline. I repeat, that sense of freedom must be punctuated with values and discipline. If the values and discipline are not there, the freedom tantamounts to become licentious. I have a license to do what I want. I come and take this asana to give this wisdom. There is a certain decorum I maintain. I would only wear this kind of a dress code. But doesn't mean I become a different person if I wear a different dress code. I remember I used to wear a three-piece suit for certain seminars back in Malaysia because it's a Muslim country. I can't go in this attire there. I have to respect that dress code there. That doesn't make me a different person, but would you, I don't know how many of you will come back and say, if I'm wearing a three-piece suit with a bow tie and giving lecture here like this. It has a certain audience, a certain decorum, a certain place. So you must have the freedom, but yet it has to be punctuated with discipline. Sir, you get onto your car, you have the freedom to go where you want to go. Is anybody going to ask you? Nobody's going to ask you where you're going. But the moment you hit the road, you have to follow the rules and regulations set by the traffic authorities. That you have no choice. So freedom, you have to go wherever you want to go. But in that freedom, you have a choice of following the rules and regulations. There is no choice. So that system must be in place. That decorum must be in place. That value systems must be in place. But yet there has to be a balance of giving them the freedom. If somebody wants to do some things, there must be that sense of freedom. It's like a train has the right to go wherever it wants to go, but its movement is restricted to the tracks, isn't it? The tracks are the rules and regulations. It can't go beyond the track. In the track, it can go front and back, wherever it wants to go, it can go. But it's punctuated. So freedom punctuated with discipline. Freedom without discipline equals licentiousness. So you should not be licentious. So the organization should not be licentious. Organization should have the freedom to do what is right, what is wrong. But that is said by the rules and regulations. So coming back to the text, at the physical level, you must control the quality control we're talking about to become an introverted person, to be able to practice nirguna upasana. First, control your senses at the physical level. At the mental level, he says, rejoicing in the welfare of all beings. At the mental level, you have a feeling of love and affection to everybody. How many of you actually rejoice in the welfare of your employees? The welfare of your competitors who are crushing your business, who are pushing you to outperform yourself because they are too smart, but you rejoice in their welfare. You rejoice in their well-being. You rejoice in their growth. When you say rejoice in their well-being, you rejoice in Their success means there is no animosity or hatred in your mind for anybody. So if you have that feeling of hatred or otherness or animosity, you are not fit to contemplate, you are not fit to meditate. Second discipline at the mental level. You must rejoice at the welfare of everybody. And the third, regarding everything equally at the intellectual level. What do you mean regarding everything equally? So, physical, mental, intellectual, three disciplines. You see a unity in the diversity. It's easy to say, see unity in diversity, but what does seeing unity in diversity means? Sridhar garu. Chapandi. We're short of batteries today, so only one mic is around.
But unity, diversity, I feel, accepting everyone's way of living, not pushing my self-interest.
No, seeing a unity in diversity. You see a homogeneous principle in a heterogeneous expression.
Right. Samabhavam,
What is samabhava?
seeing everyone is the same, like whether you is your driver's son or your own son, treat everyone with equal respect.
What is it that you see?
I see two human beings, that's it.
So instead of seeing him as a driver's son vis-a-vis my son, you see them as humans, two human beings. So how could I mistreat one or be partial to other? Now, how do you apply that in your work atmosphere? Or how do you apply that in your day-to-day life? To see a unity in diversity. Opposite of unity in diversity is? You're right, Sridharji, you're right. Vijayji, good to see you, sir. From behind the scene to on scene.
Good to be here.
Yes, sir. So can you throw some light? How do you read this quality as where he says regarding everyone or everything equally, which we said as seeing the unity in the diversity?
Well, one method is to see the presence of God in everyone and approach everyone with love, compassion, and kindness.
So is it possible to see God in everyone, sir?
Intellectually, it is. We understand that. Experientially, sometimes it's difficult, especially if we are going through a stressful period at work and the staff is misbehaving or they're just playing passive aggressive or whatever have you. There's some friction there.
Wife is shouting in the house. Huh?
Sorry?
If your wife is shouting at you to see unity in the diversity.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, experientially, it requires
Very
training,
difficult.
correcting. Like, why did I lose?
I can understand
Like,
you uncomfortable answer the question. Nisha Ma must be there in the room there somewhere.
No, she's not actually. She's in another room.
Don't worry, she will not have access to the recording also. So, when the world is kind to you, we can identify with them. But when the world is unkind to me, when the world is cruel to me, would I be able to see a sense of oneness? That's the test. If I am kind to you, you are kind to me, there's no big deal. But if I'm unkind to you and you're kind to me, That's what it means, seeing a unity in the diversity. I'm able to see a common denominator. The absolute unity in the diversity is seeing God in everything, seeing Brahman everywhere, because a substratum, God is substratum. That is the highest. Perhaps it's easy to intellectualize, but very difficult to attune to. So you got to bring it down to applicable levels. So for example, in the organization, some of them are wearing, but some of them are not wearing. For example, let's say we all wear this badge of Wisdom Foundation. It doesn't matter the badge, but let's say if we are under this umbrella of Wisdom Foundation, let's say there are 50 members, 100 members. Each individual brings their own personality to the work, to the banner, their efficiencies, their inefficiencies, their shortcomings, their offerings. But to be able to see everybody in this banner as they are a part of this organization rather than one who does more or one who does less. If I'm able to see all of them as one, I'm able to practice the unity in different people, in different individuals, but what knits all of us is that one string, which is we're all part of this organization, not the different pearls that are strung to this string, but we're all connected to one string. So I go beyond the apparent differences and see what is a common denominator. So they say the common denominator can start from, what's it, Setuji, you know what's LCM? Mike Evans. LCM విన్నారు కదా మీరు. LCM.
Lowest common multiple, yeah.
The lowest common multiple. So what is the lowest common multiple that you can identify with? One. What is the LCM? LCM we said is the lowest common multiple. Now the LCM this dot is ego. The lowest you can identify with is yourself. So the starting point of LCM is myself and I. So whatever I do only for my own interest. I don't care for anybody else. That is the lowest LCM. What is the next LCM beyond that? Sorry? Family. So the LCM that identifies you with whatever you do is done in the interest of the entire family. You don't think of yourself but the family. Then comes let's say your community or society. Your community or society has got 100 houses. Now, here when I say here, they can also be, as Sidhuji said, your extended family. Extended family is about your brothers, sisters, your siblings, your nephew, niece, that family, which can be 30, 40, 50 people. In that, can you see a common denominator? Very difficult. Your hair only out. Bold, clean bold. Oh, my children are different to my brother's children or my sister's children or my nephew. It's not my child. It's different. So that identification is gone. So the quality control here, the quality control is your identification. So you start measuring your LCM to this. Then comes your society. Society has got 100 families, 100 homes. 100 homes multiplied on average 3-4 people, there are 400-500 people in the community. How do you identify with every member of society? There are people who will contribute for the maintenance. There will be people who will not even pay the 100 rupees for the maintenance. There will be people who will make issues. There are people who will, all kinds of people. But moment you say we belong to the Sainik Puri community, instantly there's identification. We're all one. Doesn't matter whether you're good or bad, what kind of person, you're a Christian or a Muslim. I don't care all that. The fact that you've fallen to this, I identify with you. Why Puri? I don't identify. You are opposite colony. Sainik Puri, yes, I identify. You see, there's a difference. There's a line where you a threshold, you go and go beyond it. Then comes the perhaps I'm taking a huge leap here, can be you can identify with your religion or it could be your political party to identify with. So anybody you identify your party or your one opposite party, no. Or it can go to the level where you identify with your whole country or humanity. I just said so many sections. If I can't, there will be too many circles there. I'm just giving you an idea where you can go. And then comes Vijayji, you're with me? The last comes where you see God in everything. Doesn't matter whether you come from an educated background, you can be illiterate, you can be a cultured man, you can be an uncultured person, you can be a Christian or a Muslim, you can be a sinner or a saint. Doesn't matter what you are. You see the same Atman in every creature, in every being. We are talking of non-vegetarian. There are people who identify with entire humanity, but not with other creatures. They slaughter them for their palate pleasure. They don't identify with other living beings. So if you really want to test yourself, you got to really ask, what is my LCM? At some point, moment you cross at LCM, there is hatred coming in. So where does hatred creep in? The moment hatred, what is the opposite of identification? Hatred, otherness. I am not comfortable with you. I'm not comfortable with the idea. I'm not comfortable with your religion. I'm not comfortable with your ideologies. I'm not comfortable with your color or your race or your social status. Something I'm not comfortable with. I don't identify with you. Oh, you belong to that organization. I don't like you. Okay? So you find a reason to hate that person. You find a reason to justify your animosity or otherness. That is your weak link.
It is also an animal, but the basic nature of crocodile is
We are saying don't eat the crocodiles. People are having, one of the most expensive handbags are crocodile handbags. Crocodile skin, you know? The crocodiles are bred, fed with the only purpose of the industrial demand for these exclusive bags. You say Louis Vuitton. You want Louis Vuitton bag, you want, what is that famous, huh? What's the famous? Huh? Gucci, not Gucci. Huh? Many are there. But there's one hide skin, high skin. But what the hide skin? But there is one brand which is one of the most expensive brand. What is that? Even that Malaysian Prime Minister's wife, she kept on Gucci. Gayatri Ma, what is your bag? Pao, of all people, you're asking Gayatri Ma, look at this. I am ungrateful to you, Gayatri Ma. Huh? Hey, Jayama, what is your bag brand? Every time she comes, she'll walk in with a new handbag. Huh? My daughter sent me, my daughter-in-law sent me from US. Huh?
Fossil, Guruji.
Fossil. Adilla. There is a expensive brand and you have to wait for, what is that brand, Jayama? Hey, Gama, enna brand? You know, you people don't use handbags, ladies.
I don't know, Guruji. I just know Lavi and Gucci, what they are told, 2, 3. That's
Haresh will tell.
Coach, Guruji, coach.
Huh?
Coach.
Not Coach.
Coach also is a very pricey brand.
Haresh, this is the mother of all bags.
Can you hear me, Guruji?
Yes.
It's Birkin.
Birkins, huh?
Berkin. The big one, the fiasco in Malaysia that's going on with this waiting list to get handbags. Go Birkin.
Birkins. And this Malaysian Prime Minister's wife, she had hundreds of bags. Uru Birkin bag will cost you, how much it will cost, Haresh, a Birkin bag?
I have no idea, but it's a phenomenal sum of money, which is not even funny to fathom, but I don't know the price.
50 lakhs, a crore rupee or handbag. And she had hundreds of handbags. Like that. Just one of the things she had was that. Like Emalda Marco, she had thousands of footwear, you know. Otherwise, people have any number of things, anything. So, the problem is not crocodile eating us. I don't mind crocodile eating us. The problem is they are eating the crocodile. That is the problem.
Basic question is when somebody, let's say we are looking at a snake, either killing snake or the snake is looking. That situation, with the feeling of oneness, how to bring that kind of that.
I want to know where is your house address, sir? Because are you living amongst the snakes and crocodiles? Then you go into their fold. Even, sir, I'll give you my example. In the ashram days, when we were studying there was no development. It's all rough. Only buildings were there, but there was no landscaping. Every morning we get up. We are sitting like this in the floor area for our study. Most common visitors we had every day in our rooms, more rooms were scorpions. Hundreds. And at times we would have been sitting there for 1 hour and studying. We will not realize the scorpion was just sitting there, right there. And it would not sting you. It will not sting you. It will only sting you when it feels insecure. Even if it's a snake, even if it's a crocodile, even if it's a tiger in the wild, sir. I will assure you.
An example. Let's say probably let's say that situation, that kind of scenario, the feeling of oneness, how can
You hate the sin, but not the sinner.
lots of you are in that situation.
Therefore, I hate you. But I don't hate you. I have no hatred towards you, but I don't appreciate what you're doing. Therefore, I have to do my dharma of killing you.
Because
Just because I kill you doesn't mean I must hate you. I'm killing because my dharma demands me to protect my nation. And what you're doing, I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate your act. I don't hate you as a person. Therefore, they say, hate the sin, but not the sinner. Hate the quality, but not the personality. am against what you're doing is you're demonizing and you're destroying my country. And my duty demands as a soldier, I protect my nation. In the process, I have to kill you. So be it. And I'll be rewarded for that. I'll be honored for that. I'll be recognized for my valor. But I don't, oh, it's a Pakistani fellow. I must have you twice more. Why should I have a hatred because you are from another land? I should have, it may be two armies fighting against each other, but why should there be animosity amongst the army? Right now, as we are talking, Ukraine and Russia have been on war for, I don't know how long, more than a couple of years, I suppose. Huh? A considerable time. But why should there be hatred in the bosom? So governments have decided to defend their own territories. In the process, I am doing what my government decides to fight. I do my goal, do my job, that's all. Why should I have hatred, sir, in that? The moment you have a hatred towards the other, that is you're unfit for contemplation, unfit for meditation. That's your downfall. So as long as possible, you're able to identify with every being. Identify to what extent in the LCM can you raise the bar. So it is just not theoretical, you can actually apply it. But if I hate, there are times where I need to be very hard at somebody. I may be demanding something from someone. And I don't appreciate that lack of efficiency, let's say. I may hate that quality in a person. But I don't have to hate that person. That person is beyond that quality, isn't it? You don't like a quality in your child. Do you hate your child for that reason, sir? You only correct that quality in a person, don't you? That way, there is no reason that you should engender or harbor hatred or animosity in your bosom for anything for the world does to you. Sir, that's the greatness of great Christ. When he was crucified on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. When he is being crucified, nailed on the cross, he said that. Somebody talks on your back and you come to know that they're talking bad about you. What is your thought about him in your mind? How would we behave? They're talking loosely about me. Our natural reaction is, are we able to forgive them or are we able to accommodate them or say, be unbecoming as them? That marks a difference. If you identify, it's a different behavior. If you don't identify, finished. We give back with interest. We have to, end of the day, business million. We have to calculate everything. Correct? So I have not even gone into the third verse, which gives us the tools to contemplate on Nirguna Upasana. He is a quality control for doing Nirguna Upasana. Ellame fail. It's like a big hurdle. You can't even climb that hurdle. Or forget contemplation, forget meditation. See, this only ensures the right sadhana is done by the right kind of people to bring about the right results. If this is not done, imagine unqualified doctors are practicing medicine in the market out there. What will happen to the health industry? Gone. If you have the right qualified doctors to practice medicine, it does good to the society. Similarly, if this spiritual practices are adhered properly and done based on the right precaution and the right qualification, it will only bring about the right type of spiritual seekers, and it creates a right image of what spirituality is. Otherwise, we'll have spiritual caricatures. And as I say again, these are the pointers which make sure whether you are ready for contemplation and meditation. So obviously, if you're not ready, you will be told not to do it. So those of you who are ready for it, you have to come back next week for what are the thing to contemplate on. I hope I'll have one or two people. No, sir, you said if you are ready for it, I decided I'm not ready, therefore I'm not coming. SR Garu, please come back. Okay. And just to mention what it is, can you share the third verse, please, once? Just to mention what are the pointers. See, remember Bhavani Ilya. God means, the moment we mention the word God, God means, what is Brahman? What is God? Hmm? Supreme. What is God? Man minus desires. What is God? God is an unknown entity. We don't know what God is, right? These pointers help you to paint a picture of that unknown God. Correct? I don't know what God is. And to one who does not know what God is, these pointers help him to identify. So, what is God? Let's chant the third verse and then we'll read the verse. Ye tvaksharamanirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyam cha kutasthachalam dhruvam. Kutasthamachalam. He says it is, okay, those indeed who worship the imperishable, aksharam, nirdeshyam, indefinable, avyaktam, unmanifest, sarvatragam, omnipresent, achintyam, unthinkable, kuthastham, unchangeable, achalam, immovable, dhruvam, eternal. These are all the pointers for you for the next 1 week. You must contemplate on this without getting tired. How long can you contemplate? There will be a fatigue very soon. Let me be. If you are of that caliber, you will take these pointers and you will revel in these because it gives you a direction to think. To a student who does not know anything, we give direction. But Arjuna was not of a caliber. Arjuna was a caliber of Saguna Upasana. He just caters. The interesting thing is the chapter caters to those who worship with a form, those who are able to worship without a form. Okay? We will come back. Om Namada Namidam Namudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.